Have you ever looked at someone you love and felt like a stranger sitting across from them? The house is the same, the memories are the same, but somehow the closeness you once shared feels like it's slipping quietly through your fingers. If you know that quiet ache, you're not alone. And today, we're going to talk about the invisible thread that holds real love together, emotional intimacy. Because emotional closeness isn't something we lose all at once. It fades little by little when we stop tending to the small, invisible threads that keep two hearts connected. And today, we're going to shine a light on those threads, the trust, the tenderness, the presence that keep love alive and growing stronger with time. You see, there's one part of a relationship that quietly reveals everything about its true strength. It's the way we give and receive care, affection, and deeper emotional closeness. But I'm not just talking about the physical side of intimacy. I'm talking about the psychology underneath it all, the invisible bonds of trust, vulnerability, tenderness, and emotional presence that make real, lasting love possible. Before we go any deeper, I'd love to hear from you. Have you ever felt that quiet distance growing between you and someone you love? If you have, just comment yes below. And if you're working on building a deeper connection right now, type working on it. Your story matters, and you never know who you might inspire by sharing it. Many men find profound satisfaction not in taking, but in giving, in making their partners feel cherished, desired, and fully seen. It's not about performance, it's about presence. When a man gives connection selflessly, without keeping score, a quiet power awakens inside him. His confidence grows, not from applause, but from knowing he's created a moment of real closeness. His emotional bond deepens, layer by layer, like roots strengthening beneath the surface. And ironically, by focusing purely on his partner's joy, he often receives something far greater in return: trust, devotion, and the kind of intimacy that can't be faked. Imagine this: a simple touch that feels like home, a lingering glance that says, "I'm here fully." True confidence isn't loud. It's not a boast or a flex. It's the steady hand reaching for yours in the dark, the heart that stays open even when vulnerability feels terrifying. Because in the end, being a safe place for someone else's deepest fears and desires, that's the real foundation of lasting, passionate love. But even with all this beauty possible, the truth is, not every man feels immediately comfortable stepping into this kind of deep emotional closeness. And that's okay, because today we're going to unpack why, with honesty and compassion. There are two powerful reasons many men hesitate. The first is something most don't talk about openly: fear of judgment and insecurity. Deep down they wonder, what if I'm not enough? What if I get it wrong? These fears aren't just surface-level worries about connection. They're rooted in something much heavier: the fear of being seen and found lacking. Society has flooded men with impossible expectations to always be strong, always know what to do, never falter. Over time, these pressures quietly carve out spaces of shame and self-doubt. Picture a man standing at the edge of emotional closeness, wanting to dive in, but frozen by the fear that if he truly shows himself, he'll be rejected or judged. And fear isn't the only thing holding men back. There's also the weight of outdated cultural myths. For generations, the world told men that real masculinity means detachment, dominance, and stoicism. Vulnerability, that was seen as weakness. Caring too much, a flaw. But here's the truth: real strength is found in presence, not distance. It's the courage to lean in when every fear says, run. It's choosing to be tender when toughness would be easier. It's embracing a partner's most vulnerable places, physical and emotional, with gentleness and pride. This shift in understanding is crucial because without it, a man may misinterpret his own hesitation, and worse, doubt his partner's worth when really it's his own fear speaking. Real talk. If a man struggles to embrace his partner fully, it often says more about his own fears than about her worth. So if you've ever felt that hesitation rising inside you, listen closely, because the good news is the path to a deeper, richer connection is not as complicated as it seems, and it's closer than you realize. The key is simple yet powerful: communication. Ask, listen, respond, explore together. When a man communicates openly, when he asks what feels good, listens without ego, and responds with patience rather than pressure, emotional closeness stops being a task and becomes something deeper, a profound act of emotional giving. And when this shift happens, it can completely transform a relationship, just like it did for Mark and Lisa. Mark, 62, once shared with me, "I used to think closeness was about doing everything right. I obsessed over technique, timing, performance, but it never truly felt fulfilling for either of us. It wasn't until I slowed down, started asking her questions, paying attention to the little signs of comfort or hesitation, that everything changed. It wasn't about the act anymore. It was about the bond." Today, Mark and Lisa described their connection not just as good, but as transformative, an ongoing conversation between two souls, not just two bodies. Their experience brings us to an important truth. Lesson. Emotional intimacy isn't about perfection, it's about presence. And if we want to truly understand how presence transforms connection, we need to look even deeper. Men who embrace emotional and physical closeness without shame tend to be emotionally secure in themselves, deeply tuned in to their partner's evolving needs, resilient in the face of vulnerability, courageous in building love that lasts decades, not just months. On the other hand, when closeness feels distant or awkward, it's often a signal pointing to something deeper beneath the surface. It's often rooted in old emotional wounds from childhood, from rejection, from cultural myths about masculinity that taught men to stay tough, even when what they truly craved was connection. Here's the truth. Emotional closeness isn't weakness. It's mastery. It's the advanced emotional skill of staying open when everything in you says to close off. When you embrace every side of your partner, their mind, their heart, and their whole being, without hesitation or shame, you don't just build connection, you build extraordinary, lasting love. At this point, you might be wondering something very real and very human. Now you might be thinking, but what if I've made mistakes? What if we've grown distant over the years? Here's the good news. You can reignite connection at any age. It's never too late. No matter how far apart you may feel, the bridge back is always built the same way, one small shift at a time, and that journey back to deep connection always begins with one powerful choice. It starts with this choice: choose understanding over fear. When fear speaks, it says you failed, it's too late. When understanding speaks, it says you're learning, you're still capable of deeper love. So how do we put that understanding into action? It starts with simple, intentional steps. Communicate openly. Stop guessing. Instead, ask simple, powerful questions like, what makes you feel most loved? Or, what's something small that would make today feel special for you? Create emotional safety compliment without expecting anything in return. Notice the little things, the way she laughs, the way he listens, and say it out loud. Appreciation builds trust like slow-dripping water carves a river. Focus on connection first. Instead of focusing on the goal of surface-level closeness, prioritize emotional connection. When someone feels truly seen and valued, physical closeness flows naturally and effortlessly. Be patient. Think of emotional intimacy like building a campfire. You don't throw a match and expect an instant bonfire. You nurture the spark, gently, steadily, until it grows warm and strong enough to light the whole night. And perhaps most importantly of all, always remember, you don't need to be perfect. You just need to be present. Presence, real, attentive, vulnerable presence, is the most powerful intimacy tool you will ever have. Now, close your eyes for just a moment and picture the kind of love you deserve. A relationship where every day feels like a quiet celebration, where you're not just loved, you're seen. Where laughter echoes easily, tenderness is the unspoken language, and emotional safety is the strong foundation holding everything steady. That kind of connection isn't just a dream, it's possible. It's waiting for you. It's waiting for the small, intentional choices you make today, to listen a little deeper, to appreciate a little more, to stay open when it would be easier to close off. If this message spoke to your heart today, I invite you to share your voice. Leave us seniors in the comments below. Let's create a community where wisdom, love, and deep emotional connection only grow stronger with time. If this message touched your heart today, I would be honored if you left us seniors in the comments below. Your story matters, and your voice might be the encouragement someone else needs to hear. Together, let's build a community where wisdom deepens, love strengthens, and emotional connection grows richer with every passing year. Because the best chapters of your story are still being written.